Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zane here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder. This is actually going to be the last episode before I leave for St. Louis Regionals tomorrow night, but I'll probably pre-record a couple of episodes so you guys still have content over the weekend. But yeah, I'm going to be in St. Louis this weekend for VGC Regionals. They're going to be streaming the competition at twitch.tv/Pokemon, so hopefully I can make it onto stream. Either way, it would be great to do well, as I keep on mentioning, a solid performance here should solidify my invitation to the World Championships, which is very awesome, but it would be really nice to play on stream and win. But yeah, still don't know exactly what I'm going to use yet. After I finish recording these videos, I'm going to think about it, team build a little bit, and then practice. But we're just going to jump into it. My rating actually fell down a considerable amount because I was testing a couple of things that did not work out as well as I would have liked to. So currently a rating is 1825, which I do know is slightly lower than what we were at before. So hopefully I can climb back up, as we're going to find an 1853 rated player from Japan right away to start off today's episode, which is definitely good in terms of climbing back up on the ladder. My opponent here has a team of Terrakion, Charizard, Bishop, Garchomp, Cresselia, and Greninja. So first of all, immediately, two potential Megas in Cresselia, not Cresselia, in Charizard and Garchomp, but Charizard, you know, most definitely the Mega, Garchomp probably normal. Interesting to see Cresselia here, because normally you expect to see Cresselia with Trick Room Pokemon, but in this case it doesn't really look like my opponent has a Trick Room option. In fact, seeing it next to the Charizard, I presume it'd be something like Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, Moonlight, Psychic, maybe even Calm Mind, so that's definitely going to be annoying to take care of, and I'm definitely going to want to bring Bishop, because Cresselia actually gives my Venusaur a lot of trouble. Of course, I've been using Mega Venusaur for the last 2 weeks or so, and I think it's an amazing Pokemon in the format, but Cresselia, one of the most dominant Pokemon really in VGC history, very good against it. So, as always, the question is, who do I want to lead with? I think Gengar here is pretty solid, just because, excuse me, still am a bit sick, because it can outspeed my opponent's team, get Icy Winds off, Will-O-Wisp, whatnot. Let's see, Gengar, and I really want Heatran here because it beats Cress and Charizard, but it really doesn't like playing against Greninja, Garchomp, Bisharp. Bisharp it's alright against, but the Greninja, Garchomp, and Terrakion is what it's really scared of. Actually, Suicune here is not bad at all because I can just Tailwind immediately. But if I'm leading with Suicune, maybe I should go with something a bit more offensive than Gengar. Tough calls to make here, especially because I actually want to bring all my Pokemon, so I really have to pick carefully. I'm leaning towards Gengar, Suicune, Venusaur, and Bisharp right now. Let's see. Yep, you know what? I'm just going to lock in. This is definitely a tough call because, like I said, I like all my Pokemon so much. You know, Terrakion here is fantastic because it can knock out Charizard, Terrakion, and Bisharp. But, one, I don't like dealing with the speed ties, and the Cresselia definitely has... and Greninja can outspeed and KO, Garchomp can Earthquake. I don't know, maybe Terrakion was the right call here, but I opted for Bishop because I need a way to hit the Cresselia for super effective, and I definitely didn't want to bring Heatran given that he has Garchomp and Terrakion. But we're going to see the Charizard and Greninja leads come out for my opponent here, which is interesting. Let's see. Honestly, I'm thinking of just Sludge Bombing the Greninja and Tailwinding with Suicune. Though maybe I should Sludge Bomb Charizard instead, because that can put it in Sucker Punch KO range, which is what I'm going to go for. So yeah. So Charizard is going to Mega Evolve, and it is going to be Charizard Y, which of course is the more common Charizard Mega Evolution, but X is certainly viable as well. That's going to set up the drought. And the question here is whether Charizard protects. Most Charizards tend to not protect, and we do not see it protect. Sorry, excuse me, tend to not protect when they Mega Evolve. So we see the Dark Pulse going straight into Gengar, which, as long as I don't flinch here, I'm okay. So let's see. Gengar does get the Sludge Bomb off, which is great, because like I said, that's going to put it in Sucker Punch KO range, most likely. Gets the Poison. Gengar's Poison rate is pretty nuts, as Charizard actually went for the Solar Beam instead. That's not going to knock out my Suicune, because it is very bulky. At least I don't think so. Yeah. I'd have to... I don't think even modest max special attack Charizard can knock me out there. So I'm going to eat my Citrus Berry, which is of course great, and I'm going to get the Tailwind up. So, a very ideal turn 1 there, actually. I was expecting to lose one of my Pokemon. Obviously it took more damage than I probably wanted, but hey, I'll take that. And the Poison on Charizard was very fortunate as well. So let's see. I could just Sludge Bomb Charizard and Snarl here. But I think the Protect play from Charizard is relatively obvious, so I could also double up into Greninja with the Sludge Bomb. and a Skull. Actually, Ice Beam would do more. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to double up into Greninja. I'm feeling the Protect coming out of Charizard. Even if it doesn't Protect, that's fine. I get the, worst case, I lose. It gets a Heat Wave off, or maybe it's Solar Beams as well. But if I were my opponent here, I'd Protect and try to knock out Gengar. So we'll see. But, yeah, you know, good first turn, obviously. Ended up taking a lot of damage, but I don't mind that. That's fine at this point in the battle. Setting up Tailwind was great. And this is one of the cases where if your opponent doesn't have a way to stop the Tailwind, it's really good. But no Protects coming out from my opponent there, so very good read. As I do get a Sludge Bomb off. Oh, but the Greninja's faster. I wish I should... Oh, okay, Dark Pulse into Suicune. So we're probably going to see a Heat Wave come out of Charizard there. I should have known that my Suicune doesn't have enough speed EVs, and I really was expecting the Protect from Charizard. So very nice play from my opponent to not go for the Protect, but instead it actually Solar Beam Suicune, going for the 100% accurate move rather than going for the Heat Wave. Excuse me, did not Solar Beam Suicune, it Solar Beam Gengar, so I guess not wanting to risk any misses there, but curious decision by my opponent there. So, despite me not getting the right prediction there, I still end up with the better end of the turn. I knocked out Greninja, I still have 2 more turns of Tailwind left, so I'm feeling pretty decent right now. Definitely going to bring in Bisharp here, because it puts on a ton of offensive pressure. At this point, Cresselia is my biggest concern because Venusaur beats the remainder of my opponent's team. I am going to have to be careful though, just because Suicune is near KO range as well, as we're going to see Terrakion come out from my opponent here, which I'm fine with. Though this gets interesting. I'm wondering if the Terrakion is sashed or not. Because what I could do here is just Iron Head Terrakion and Scald the Charizard. The question is whether Terrakion protects here or not. I don't think Scald's gonna knock out Charizard in that range, honestly. I don't think so. It's because of the sun, of course. Tough call to make here. If I were my opponent, I mean, my opponent didn't protect last turn with Charizard, so my opponent might just play aggressively with that Terrakion and go straight for the close combat. I am going to attack Terrakion expecting it to not protect. Okay, it doesn't protect, but let's see if it has a sash or not. Oh, it doesn't have the sash, great. Though I might still be, it might end up being a one-on-one here now, because if, I don't think Scald will knock it out. Let's see. A knockout here would be huge, but I'm not expecting it. Oh, it hangs on with the sliver of HP. Charizard does get that Heat Wave off, so... Yeah, in retrospect, I guess I could have just knocked out Charizard and then went for the Scald onto Terrakion, bringing it to a 2v2, I guess. This was a bit risky because I honestly think my opponent's going to have Cresselia in the back, and if that is the case, Venusaur doesn't like playing against Cresselia. However, if it is Garchomp or Bisharp, then I should win, but let's see what my opponent ended up bringing in the back here. Venusaur comes out. What comes in for my opponent? It's going to be Garchomp. Sweet. Perfect. So, yeah, that was really risky because had it been the Cresselia in the back, you know, I figured it'd be over. But the thing is, normally opponents don't really save Cresselia for the end. You normally, when you have Cresselia in your team, lead with it or bring it in after a knockout. It's very rare for you to keep it as your very last Pokemon just because it can't have very much offense going for itself. So, I'm just going to go for the Leech Seed here because once I get the Leech Seed off, it should be a good game because I can stall, obviously, between Leech Seed and Protects. My opponent can still win, I guess, if this is Swords Dance like Life Orb Garchomp, but I guess we'll see what Garchomp said it is. Gonna go for the Protect there, it makes sense, stall out the last turn of Tailwind. As Leech Seed's obviously not gonna do anything here. Tailwind is going to peter out, so I really hope I can connect with Leech Seed here. Giga Drain's a 3-hit KO, which is why I'm leaning towards going for the Leech Seed here. Okay, yeah, it just goes for Earthquake, so no crazy shenanigans. And it shouldn't even be a 2-hit KO. Yeah, as it isn't. Oh, it's Life Orb even, too. Okay, cool. So Leech Seed does connect here. That's fantastic. That's should be game. So, yeah, I mean, the reason why I went for Leech Seed there was because I knew I could go for it this turn or next turn. As long as I hit it once, I'd be fine because this Venusaur is so defensively bulky. So, like I said, all I have to do is protect, and he's eventually going to KO himself through the Life Orb recoil, the Leech Seed recovery, and then the Giga Drain recovery as well. So, a very intense game. the poison on Charizard Y ended up actually being very fortunate, as my opponent actually just ends up forfeiting here. I think it was a really good play that turn where he didn't protect with Charizard and just attacked with both of his Pokemon. I think if he Heat Wave there, I would have been in a considerably worse position, and I had a feeling he would not protect with Charizard, but it was also silly because I knew like Greninja would outspeed my Suicune, so that turn was definitely not the best optimal play for me. But I'm not going to complain as I end up winning here. So we're just going to jump right into it, as our rating is 1842, so a win here would put us over 1850, which is obviously fantastic. But yeah, I think one thing is, you know, as I commentate all these matches, is how I kind of point out mistakes, as an 1810 opponent from Japan is going to be our next opponent of the day. And I think the beautiful thing about VGC is you don't need to win you don't need to make the perfect plays every turn. Honestly, you know, I've had so many games where, you know, the first half of the game I play terribly, and then the second half I've been able to come back through some smart, intelligent plays. So, that's the thing, you know, we all make mistakes in battles, and I think it's really good to reflect upon them as you play along and better yourself as you go, but definitely don't be discouraged if you make a couple of bad plays here and there, because VGC is all about the long term and not the short term. But anyway, let's get into this battle. Another Charizard Garchomp duo here, but a more interesting team here for sure, as my opponent also has Venusaur, Excadrill, Aegislash, and Hippowdon, which I have not seen in a very long time. Hippowdon, not often used in VGC. Wolfie Glick, I believe, actually brought it to the 2013 World Championships, where he finished 3-3. Excadrill was really common back in VGC 2013, notably on Randy Qua, one of the top, actually the top Canadian player really out there. So it's really strong, and of course, the double weather option for my opponent here is very interesting. The real question is, of course, who do I want to lead with? Like always. Aegislash here is particularly scary. Suicune is really good against the majority of my opponent's team, so I'm going to lead with Suicune, I think. I do like Suicune a lot, and I like Suicune Bisharp, actually. Gives me lots of options, especially against Aegislash right from the start. Definitely want Venusaur in the back because it's bulky and can take attacks. And I'm thinking Heatran because it gives me an optimal matchup against Charizard, Venusaur, and Aegislash. Whereas the other three Pokemon I've chosen give me optimal matchups against the Garchomp, Excadrill, and wow, I just lost my train of thought. Garchomp, Excadrill, and Hippowdon. Because of course they're all weak to water or ice. So yeah, it feels a bit odd to keep Terrakion out this match, but the reason why I'm keeping Terrakion out is, one, Aegislash, most definitely I'm expecting has Wide Guard, because, you know, it's paired with Excadrill and Garchomp, which are Earthquake users, and Hippowdon, and Charizard, of course, doesn't like taking Rock Slides. So Terrakion here is also outsped by Excadrill. It can't one-hit KO most of my opponent's team, and I have to deal with Wide Guard, so I'm not going to bring it. And Gengar here, not the best option, because Sludge Bomb doesn't do very much damage against really anything my opponent has. But we're going to see the Charizard Venusaur lead come out from my opponent, which is definitely not a lead I like going up against, given my lead matchup, so tough positioning for sure. But of course I can just switch safely into Heatran right from the start, which is good. Let's see. I think what I'm going to try to go for is a Tailwind and switch my Bisharp out into Heatran. Hopefully I can catch the Charizard going for a Heat Wave. Heatran here, fantastic position to really switch it in. Can also potentially set up a substitute, as that is going to be Charizard Y. So today's episode really featuring Charizard Y. My bet, you know, one of my top 5 Mega Evolutions in VGC 2015 for sure. I used it in Road to Ranked earlier on in the year. That's going to set up Drought, of course, boosting Venusaur's speed for the next couple of turns. Oh my god, but we're going to see the Grass Pledge come straight out. Targeting Suicune down, not going to knock me out. I might actually be able to take a Solar Beam as well. Surprising not to see the double Pledge combo come out here. But nope. I do catch my opponent with the Heat Wave. Suicune actually even avoids it, and I get the Tailwind up. That's like as perfect of a turn as I'll really get. That's phenomenal here for me. So I get the Flash Fire boost, I get the Tailwind up, and Suicune still survives. Really couldn't have asked for a better turn here. So I could just Snarl and Heat Wave now. I could also try to set up a sub, but honestly I'm just going to go on the offense at this point. But we see the Sleep Powder coming out from Venusaur, so obviously a very speedy Venusaur, outspeeding me even after that Tailwind. You know what, that's fine. He can't really touch me right now, and I immediately burn Return of Sleep. But I do get the Snarl off, which is really good, decreasing, of course, the special attack of both these special attack users. Charizard here is probably going to go for the Solar Beam onto Suicune, which I won't mind. Especially at -1 special attack. Hey, that's going to be fine. Though I'm thinking maybe I want to conserve the Suicune because it beats the Garchomp, Excadrill, you know, everything else I named in the beginning of the match. But honestly, at this point, I think I'm just gonna stay in and go for a... I'm gonna go for another Snarl, yeah. And I'm gonna hope to wake up here with the Heatran. We're actually gonna see Charizard switch out. Good switch out. I don't mind that as long as I conserve Heatran. Playing against that won't be very difficult, as Hippowdon's actually going to come in, so that's actually good for me because Sandstream now makes it so that Heatran outspeeds my opponent's Venusaur. We do see the Grass Pledge coming out, targeting the Suicune once again. That's going to knock me out. If Heatran were to wake up here, that would be fantastic. I really hope it can wake up here. And it does wake up. Does it connect with the Heat Wave? It connects with both Pokemon, so I'm going to punish my opponent's switch in heavily, getting a huge Heat Wave off against both of my opponent's Pokemon. That's going to knock Venusaur right out. So that was a really good turn for me. I'm definitely going to bring in Mega Venusaur here so I can Mega Evolve immediately and just really take advantage of where we are. I'm wondering if Excadrill is going to come in for my opponent here, as it's going to be Aegislash, I think. Yeah, wow. That's really good for me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to Giga Drain the Hippowdon and substitute with Heatran, expecting the Wide Guard Earthquake play. This is a really fast battle, but I feel like I've got a lock on already. I think just being able to set up Tailwind and bring Heatran in this match was absolutely huge. You know, I was iffy about bringing Heatran given that my opponent had 3 Earthquake users in Garchomp, Excadrill, and Hippowdon, but I figured it was worth the risk, right, because Heatran completely walls the Charizard Venusaur lead, and so even though my lead matchup was not optimal, it ended up working out alright. Okay, no Wide Guard coming out, so I just get up a sub. Which makes me wonder whether the Hippowdon even went for an Earthquake or not. I think Giga Drain's going to just knock it out here, as it does, yeah, so that's really good. Basically, Charizard Y can't touch my Heatran unless it has something like Focus Blast, of course, as Aegislash goes for a substitute of its own. Nice. Venusaur is going to be, of course, buffed by the Sandstorm, but definitely got to feel good about my position right now, especially given that I've got a Bisharp in the back to deal with the Excadrill as well. Not the Excadrill, the Aegislash, and this Aegislash is your typical sub-lefties Aegislash. Tailwind peters out, but I got the best of it, really. Got the Heatran really waking up that first turn was clutch. You know, wouldn't have minded. I was hoping as long as it woke up that turn or the turn after. A 3-turn sleep there would have actually been pretty rough for me, but it's going to play out alright now. Let's see, I'm just going to Heat Wave, and I'm actually going to... Let's see. I'm going to Sludge Bomb Charizard. I don't need to Leech Seed right now because I just want to put it in Sucker Punch KO range for Bisharp to finish it off. So I'm going to Heat Wave here, attempt to find out whether this Aegislash actually has Wide Guard or not. I honestly don't expect it to, given that it already revealed Substitute. So normally if you have Substitute, you have King Shield and then 2 offensive moves. And it is going to go for the King Shield here, but that's perfectly fine for me because I still get tons of free damage off against this Charizard with the boosted Heat Wave and the Sludge Bomb. Oh wow, as I actually outspeed that Charizard, so wondering how fast it is. Sun boosted +1 Heat Wave. Charizard, of course, still resisting it, takes it relatively well. Goes for the Fire Pledge. Should not knock out Venusaur, as I take that relatively well. Yep, and I get the Sludge Bomb off. So I'm really curious as to why my opponent didn't go for the Pledge combo immediately, as Sludge Bomb poisons here. So this episode is all about Charizard Y getting poisoned by poor Sludge Bombs. Yeah, it was interesting to not see my opponent go for the Pledge combo right away. Pledges is a really interesting mechanic. I think that was really the misplay on the first turn. I'm not sure though. I honestly have never used Pledge teams before, so I'm not as comfortable with it. But now all I have to do is just Leech Seed and Heat Wave. And my opponent's just going to forfeit there. So, really quick episode for you guys today. This was like, the last couple of episodes have really been like 25 to 30 minutes long. This one is only 20 minutes long. 2 pretty quick games for you, but definitely 2 interesting teams. A lot of cool Pokemon, especially that Hippowdon. I actually wish we could have seen it do more in that last game. And that first game really came down to whether my opponent had Crest in the back, but in the end, Mega Venusaur was able to prevail. So that's great. Rating should be over 1850, around 1860 now, which is fantastic in terms of climbing back up. So, of course, when you're up this high, as I always repeat in the episodes, it's really... A couple good wins can bring you up immediately, a couple bad losses brings you down, so nice to net 2 wins in today's episode. Like I said, I'm probably going to record a couple of more episodes so you guys have content while I'm gone at St. Louis Regionals. Of course, you can follow live updates at my Twitter, at CybertronVGC. I'll also probably vlog and do some live coverage just because I'd really like to bring more VGC coverage, so I'm planning on bringing my camera and recording everything. But yeah, so for this episode, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, follow twitch.tv/Pokemon for the stream this weekend. And yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.